Alright, so basically in this video, I will be showing you how I would be studying each specific chapter. And you can use this method technically for every single chapter. By now, you probably ran into the problem that legalization is extremely long and you have the feeling that you need to know it. So instead of wanting to waste your time going through every single thing, this is how I would do legalization instead. Instead, I've grabbed a past exam paper right here. So this is of last year, May, June, right there, paper one. And then I'd start doing questions that are from that specific chapter because it's way better to do the questions that appear from that chapter compared to going ahead and trying to memorize all of the work from every single page in that chapter. It's a more effective approach as you're studying for the tests and the exams because these questions have already been asked, and in case they appear 2 times or more, that it means that it will appear once again most likely. I'm not saying that the ones that appear once will not appear, but they have a significantly less chance of appearing in the next test. This is how I would focus on each chapter so that I do not study as much, but at the same time my marks still keep getting better, but I spend less time studying. So this is what I would do. All right, let's say the chapter that we need to start studying is legalization. That is the chapter that we're struggling with and that we need to focus with on the moment. And you'd go ahead and you'd look specifically for questions that are from legalization. So right here is this one right here, and this is definitely from legalization. So this act encourages businesses to invest in the education and training of the South African workforce, and that would be E right there. The reason that I'm so quick on it and that I remember it is because I did it last year, so don't pay that any mind. And also you can use the business studies notes to help you answer the questions. Remember, the more you do it over and over and over and over and over and over again, eventually you're going to start getting sick of it, but you're going to memorize the work in your head to the point where you can most likely just know out of the top of your head what is the correct answer right there. So right here I'm going with B, which is the correct answer. Remember, you can go ahead and use your notes to look for the answers to see if it is indeed correct. The memorization will happen when you do it over and over and over and over again. So do not try to cheat yourself out of that by not doing it over and over again when you see it appears over and over again. So then again, we go ahead, we look for another legalization one. That is not from legalization. 1.1.3 is not from legalization. 1.1.4 not from legalization. 1.1.5 not from legalization. So you don't do that as that's not the chapter that we're practicing right now. All right, then 1.2.1, an employee is entitled to 10 consecutive days of leave after the right there. That comes from legalization. So let's say you're unsure about this, then you'd go ahead and you would use your notes, go down the BCE, has to be that leave. Here we go. Parental leave, it has to be parental leave at 10 consecutive days of parental leave after the birth of his or child. So you go ahead, you see that one is from legalization, and then you go ahead and you do that question and you keep rinse and repeating this by only doing the questions that appear within that specific chapter that you're struggling to do. Now, let's say, for example, you've done all of the questions from legalization. Now, remember, at minimum, go ahead and do 6 exam papers. 6 exam papers. Now, that includes from May and from June, starting from 2025 all the way to 2021. Remember, at minimum, 6 exam papers. Now, no, you can do more if you feel like you don't know the work all that well yet. Go ahead and look for more exam papers and do more of the questions that are from that specific chapter. Once again, remember, you're training yourself that when you notice that question, you immediately know it comes from legalization and you know the answer to that one because you've done it so many times that you're used to seeing it now. All right, then 2.1 legalization, you go ahead, you can use your notes to do that. 2.2 not legalization, that is not from legalization right there. This is from legalization, so you go ahead and do that. Not legalization, this is from legalization, so you go ahead and you do that. So every single question that comes out of that chapter that you want to be focusing on, that you're struggling with, you go ahead and you do that. So let's say, for example, now in this case, the chapter that we're struggling with is the ethics and professionalism. All right, this usually that comes from paper 2. That's where that one is involved. Let's go ahead and paper 2. All right, and then you go ahead. Remember, all you want to do is the questions that are from that chapter that you're struggling with. You can ignore ignore the rest of them because that's not the chapter that you're currently focusing on or that you're struggling with. And remember, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. So if it appears the same question appears 2 times or more, go ahead and write that down again. Do not try to think just because you've done it 2 times already, you remember it now. No, do not be that person. Go ahead and do it again. You're only doing yourself a favor by putting it more to your brain so that you memorize it more. And there you go, unprofessional business practices. That's from ethics and professionalism. Go ahead and do that question, answer it. Then you go ahead, look for some more questions that are from that chapter, and you can basically do this specific method for every single chapter there is right there. All the way from chapter 1 chapter 16, you can use this method because it prepares you for any test and exam in advance, because that's the type of questions that they will be asking. Remember, a test is just to prepare you for the upcoming exam. That's the whole point of a test, to prepare you for the exam. So you can immediately go ahead and take some past exam papers because that's what they're preparing you for. And that's really about a method that I would use to study each specific chapter if I was struggling with a specific one. And yeah, I hope that helped you out.